All right, ladies, welcome to another Self-Love Conversations. It is Tuesday, the last day of Black History Month. And of course, we celebrate Black History Month every day. But I want to welcome you guys to the platform tonight. We have a wonderful guest, Ms. Tahanee Sayyid. Now, she is a relationship columnist and she offers that logical resolutions to relationships, y'all. She's also a fantastic author. She has her book, Lust Now, Cry Later, and I need to know exactly what that means, girl, because I'm excited about that. So first, tell us about the book and just a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm really happy to be here. It's a pleasure meeting you. So grateful to be here. So my novel is Lust Now, Cry Later, published by Wahida Clark, the great Wahida Clark, queen of hip hop fiction. Yeah, Wahida. So, well, the novel covers a little bit of everything. We have some racism going on in there, domestic violence, child abuse, alcoholism, mental illness, HIV, AIDS, LGBTQ. I mean, it's everything you can possibly imagine. I wanted to do a novel that covered just everything other than what a lot of authors were writing about, or what they still write about in the Black communities, as far as sex, drugs, and money. And not everyone lives that type of lifestyle. Right. So I wanted to write something relatable to other, to life, to what we go through, but don't really talk about.
Right. You're not standing on the corner and then all of a sudden you meet your drug dealer boyfriend and then y'all go to the house and then it's all this stuff. We're not going from that point of view.
Exactly. I wanted to do something that could affect everyone, and things that people don't like to discuss, but there are underlying issues that happen throughout our childhood because of these issues we don't address. So myself, I'm an author, I'm a technician also at a college, and I'm a relationship columnist, and I also have a show on YouTube, Bedroom Busters and Bites. So I like to do it all. I'm just an all around.
I love that, and when we talk about relationships and we talk about the Black community, we just finished up a series called Sisters, How Y'all Feel? Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we focused on was everything that Black women go through and what we go through within our culture. And one of the things we talked about was trauma, stress management, and everything that is related to why we are the way we are, why we have to have this strong Black woman, you know what I'm trying to say, whatever. Mm-hmm. And when we get to the idea of relationships, though, we also have this thing where we have to be the strong one in a relationship. We have to be able to keep the family together. When you are discussing your book and things like that, what is your idea of what it means to really be in a healthy relationship with someone?
I don't think that a person will ever really be able to experience a healthy relationship with someone else until they experience a healthy relationship with themselves and the creator.
Okay, I'm gonna turn that up. I'm gonna turn that way up because we talk about that every day.
Yeah, and I think that that's something that's always overlooked, because if you don't really understand the definition of love, and when I say self-love, I don't just mean just overgeneralizing self-love, because people use that term so loosely. When I say self-love, I mean really digging inside of yourself and being able to make your heart smile. Have you ever tried to make your heart smile? If you've ever sat there and tried to make your heart smile, the feeling that overtakes you is overwhelming. So to answer your question, what does it mean, for self-love and to love someone and to be in a relationship? It's really hard to say what it means, because you have to experience what it doesn't mean. And what it doesn't mean is not being in tune with yourself. So you need to be in tune with yourself. Put down a phone. Turn off the social media, turn off the television, get to really know yourself. Have that conversation with your inner child. Tell yourself, I forgive you. Dig deep down. It's easier said than done because it takes a lot of time, but it starts with meditation and prayer and really understanding what self-love is. And that's digging within.
And that's hard to do because what you're looking at is something that's scary. Like, you know, we was discussing this during our series where if you really sit with yourself and you really dig in deep into who you are, most of the time you find someone you don't like, because most of the time you find someone who gave themselves too much to someone, who lived their life through someone, who discovered that they wasn't even a good person, right? And still not a good person. So going to those places, it can bust you wide open. But you know, like I tell the ladies, that's what has to happen in order for you to manifest and come out of this cocoon so you can really become the person that you want to be, right?
That's right.
And some of the things that we have to face, I know that I heard an interview that you were doing just before we got on, where you was like, we have to be able to go to those dark places and face that we do have mental illness, that we probably do like the same sex, that we probably do like all these things. And that is scary. What part in your journey were you able to do just that to get you to this point?
Well, it happened rather recently, honestly. And it's something that I think started gradually, like maybe 2 years ago, but I just had that aha moment as recent as honestly last week when I cut all my hair off. I had that aha moment right after I got finished meditating and praying. And as I was meditating and praying, I asked God, and then I also asked myself, I said, who am I? What is it that I want? What is it that keeps me going? Where do I need to be? What is it that I'm holding on to? And this feeling that just overcame me was just so overwhelming. And I got up, I said, you know what? That's it. I'm holding on to so much. I literally just stripped myself. This is me. This is who I am in my natural form. And I'm okay with that. Like, I finally accept that. And I look at things around me and I say, you know what? This is not my reality. My reality is who I am. And whatever I have internally, the reality is going to be whatever I externalize. So what do I want my reality to be? Do I want to be a happy Tahanee, or do I want to be that Tahanee that's stuck on the past? That Tahanee that's, dealing with issues that, it could be mental illness, relation, whatever. Who am I? Those are just circumstances. It just comes and goes. But that doesn't define who I am. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go through trials and tribulations in life, but it doesn't define who you are, because circumstances change every day. You know what I'm saying? But it should never have an effect on who you are.
But they'll say, Tahanee, well, I got responsibilities, I'm stuck in this marriage now. I have these kids now. I can't really do what I really want to do and really come out the way I want to come out, because the choices that I made in the past has led me up to this point. And now I feel like I'm stuck, right? Now I feel like I can't be that person that I want to be. And I can't really love myself like that, because I think it's selfish for me to go ahead and put myself first. I think it's selfish of me to do those things. What do you say to that woman? Because that is the woman that I see a lot, who are in a situation where they want to be able to find their voice, right? But they feel like they can't because of the choices they made.
What I say to these women, I say to them, the reason why your situation is like this is because you don't want it to change. You're sitting up here telling me all the reasons why you can't, but I haven't seen the reasons why you can. And I give them an example. Think about the animals on this earth. God provides for them daily. The universe provides for them. Why wouldn't he do that for us, being his most precious creation? So stop telling me what you can't do and start, doing what you can. And first and foremost, show gratitude. Because you know what, you may be in this marriage, but look at the women who aren't married. Look at the women who can't have children. Start showing gratitude, because once you start showing gratitude, all of the things that you want, that your heart desires, that frequency that you put out there is going to bring it right back to you. So you have to understand that the way that people's lives are is because of the things that they're telling themselves. It always becomes a thought before it becomes an action. So you sit back and look at your life and look at where you are today, and you say, you know what? Before this transpired, it was first a thought. The body just works mechanically, but we have to decipher and filter out what we're going to do. And we once we get out there, once the thought comes to mind, how are we going to react? Are we going to react and work with the universe, or are we going to continue to keep ourselves stagnant by telling ourselves what we can't do? I hate the word can't. I'm so sorry. I'm so passionate.
No. I'm smiling because, it is something that I truly believe in. And honestly, you believe the same thing, and a lot of people have a lot of trauma behind their lives, and as to why they are afraid to move forward and step forward, because they keep reliving the past of what happened, of that teacher told them that they wasn't smart and that they couldn't read well. They were abused, they were molested, they were taken advantage of, and so they still stuck right there. And it's hard for them to actually grow. So when you preach this concept of self-love, when you preach this concept of choosing you first, it's hard to hear, because it's like it always seemed like you being selfish, right? It always seemed like you are supposed to give. And one of the things that we learn as Black women is, especially if you have siblings, y'all stick together. You take care of your sister. You and your cousin, if y'all close, y'all like brothers and sisters, right? And so those things that we learn, when we decide to step out of that and choose ourselves and be like, no, my cousin is toxic, my sister is toxic, I gotta form some boundaries. You a newfound person now, right? You are shunned by the family, by the community. Oh, you think you the shit now because you out there, you know what I'm saying? And that's hard to deal with, so they rather stay in their comfort zone to continue to be liked.
But just to respond to that, I always believe in just taking some time out. And, sometimes people need to have a visual of putting down the pros and the cons. Like, I've gotten used to being able to do it now, like mentally. I don't even have to write it out anymore, because that inner voice, my intuition, now I'm going with my intuition. You don't have to sit there and think 5 times whether or not you're happy in any situation, in a relationship, in a friendship, whatever. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out it's unhealthy. God gives us that inner intuition. So every time you turn a blind eye to that, what you're doing is not only disrespecting what you've been given, you're born with that. That's a gift. You're also just disrespecting just the fact that there's people who aren't here now who wish they had that opportunity. It's going to always go back to gratitude. Gratitude is the number one thing we have to, like, regardless of what. If you can sit up here and say, I've been abused, this, that, and the third as a child, and then you look at your life right now and say, you know what? Yeah, that's happened, but I'm still here for a reason. That right there should be the reason to make you want to live another day and find happiness.
I love you. I do.
Love you too. I love this
amazing
platform.
Thank you.
I love it. I love
thank you. And so in the book, I know you talked about mental illness, which is something that is big inside of the Black community that we don't talk about, right? It's that other stigma, Tahanee, that we just don't do. But I know just this past month, and also the last couple of days, men who killed themselves. And a friend of mine just killed himself
I'm so sorry.
a week ago, on the 21st, right?
My condolences. Wow.
And the crazy thing about it is that you in my mind, he had support. In my mind, right? In my mind, he could have called anybody. You know what I'm saying? In my mind, I don't know.
Right.
Right?
I understand.
But he left a note and he put it in the car dash, right? And that's what happened. And he did it in front of his girlfriend
Oh my God.
in the lobby of their condo, right? And
Oh
so I always have this thing where I know it's important to talk about it. And I know you talk about it. And I know you talk about self-love. But what do you think we need to do as a community to kind of break this stigma? Because I see more and more men coming out and they're not happy. They're talking, but next thing you know, they're not here anymore. So in your opinion, what do you think needs to happen where we can have this relationship or this community where it's no longer a stigma? Because we losing people left and right, and it doesn't matter if you rich, poor, or whatever.
You know, it's always so hard to really, I guess, talk about the whole, mental illness, and then especially when it comes to like suicide, because you made a very good point, and you kept reiterating, you kept saying in your mind, in your mind. As much as we want to try to understand the people who we love, especially people who end their lives, we can't get in their minds because we don't know exactly what it is, that thought, like I mentioned, that thought. What was he telling himself? If obviously whatever he was telling himself had more of an effect on, the other side of the positive. Okay, we'll just say that the pain was so overbearing. He focused in on that, and that led to what he did. In order for us to be more supportive to people who are struggling with mental illness, so that things like that don't happen, it's going to still all revert back to us understanding what the definition of love is. Because like they say, you want for yourself, what you want for your brother, or you want for your brother what you want for yourself. So it's still going to all come back down to that one individual self, that self. Because once you can change yourself, then you can move mountains to help change others. You can't lead if you're blind yourself. So we have to start with that one individual who can show others how to change and how to get to that level where they are, so that we can guide and lead others. It takes a village, right? It takes a village, but it starts out with one person, and that one person had what? That one thought that they put into action, and then we instill that in our brothers, and then they instill it in their brothers, and so on and so on and so on. But it's going to take that one person who can withhold and stand the test of time with everything that's being thrown at us, from racism to prejudiceness to coronavirus and all this just stuff we have coming at our way. Someone has to be there and has to be strong, but they can't do it without the creator. So they have to, one, understand God, understand themselves, and understand how the universe works. And I always stress how important it is to understand and get familiar with energy, frequency, and vibration, because that's how we all operate. Everything is frequency. Everything. You ever was about to call somebody and they end up calling you, and you're like, I just was thinking, it's frequency. So what you put out there, you're gonna get back regardless. That's the law of attraction. That's how it works. So what you gonna put out? What you gonna put out? You want to put out that positivity so that we can get it back. And how we do that, we get one person, that person leads the other, and then we have the village working together.
I want to just ask one question before we wrap this up, which is, how did you get here? How did you get to this point where you realize what's important, and you realize that you were important and self-love was important?
Well, trials and tribulations, bad relationships, romantic relationships, friendships, work, just things that I experienced in life, and being told about mental, oh, you have this, oh, what I started saying to myself, you know what? I'm not going to identify with anything that I'm being told. Who I am is who I am, and who I want to be is someone that's happy. So if I'm sitting here dwelling on the past and what I went through and what this doctor's telling me, I'm never going to find happiness. I'm going to stay in that low vibration. So if I'm constantly thinking about the things that I don't have, that's all I'm going to constantly get. I'm going to constantly keep getting the bullshit over and over and over again. And I was tired. No one could do it for me but myself. That's it. My mother can tell me all day, oh, you're beautiful. Oh, dad can say it. My husband, anybody can tell me. If I didn't feel it, nothing was going to change. And I was tired. And I had to get down on my hands and knees and put my head to the ground and pray to God and say, you know what? Help me, show me, let me see. And now I see little signs and stuff I've never seen before. And then you know what I did? I smiled with my heart. And when I felt that in my heart, I knew, you know what? I changed. And I'm so grateful to be here. This moment right now with you, I'm so grateful. As a matter of fact, when I go up the phone, I'm going to pray because I'm so grateful.
Oh, that's amazing. That is amazing. Tell us about the book, where to get it, how to follow you on social media and your shows and everything. As you just prayed us in, sister, you prayed us in.
Well, you can find my book on Amazon, Barnes and Noble is worldwide, everywhere books are sold, in your bookstore, Books A Million. You can also find it on my website at tahanee.org. You can follow me on Instagram at totally Tahanee, Tahanee, Facebook, Tahanee, Tahanee, Zarina, Zarinah. Also, I have a show on YouTube called Bedroom Busters and Bites, where I cook with my siblings. We have friends come over. We just enjoy great conversation, delicious recipes, current events. I have other few things that I'm working on in the background as well. I will present that to everyone soon, God willing. And read some of my articles on my blog, Cook, Cheat, Love. And that's pretty much it. That's just me.
Honey, thank you so much for being here. I see your spirit. I see you. I look at you and I'm like, wow, here's another one spreading light and love, because it's like the world needs you. The world needs you. And I'm so happy that you got yourself to the point where you now understand that, and you know what power you have inside of you, and you're not being selfish with it. You are giving it, and you are showing it through all of the media and everything that you're given. And like you said, that's how we break the stigma. That's how we get it out there, by being that example and being strong enough to know and understand that it's not about us.
That's right.
So I thank you for that. And I thank you for just holding that space for everybody you encounter, and understanding that whatever it is that they need, that you step in the gap to give them,
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I wanted to say this too. I appreciate you so much, Gloria. This platform, everything, I appreciate you. I really truly do. You're just amazing. This is great. People can come and listen and know that they're not alone. So thank you so much. Humbly, thank you. I do want to say what I do recommend for anybody that's struggling with self-esteem: journal. Please journal morning, noon, and night, especially before you go to bed. Journal, write down what you want, write down all of the things you wish to accomplish, and let that be your last thought before you go to bed, and pray. And also affirmations, everyday positive affirmations. Just let it replay over and over again. Meditate, pray, and meditate. Those are my key ingredients to finding happiness and inner peace. And vision boards too. Vision boards.
Wow. Well, I'm definitely going to get a copy of your book because I want to read it. And
yes, I'm going to have a copy sent to you, autographed copy sent to you. Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're
All
welcome.
right. There you have it, ladies. Make sure you follow Miss Tahanee Sayyid. Make sure you buy her book. And I want to see that cooking show too. So
yes.
I love to eat.
You know what? You got to come on too. You got to.
Yeah, I'll come on. I love to eat now. I'll be ready.
We love to cook.
All right. You have a good night, okay?
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.